Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today I want to talk to you guys about why I became a vegetarian. I became a vegetarian about 2.5 years ago. I was standing still in my running career. I wasn't getting any faster, I wasn't getting any stronger, and I certainly wasn't getting any leaner. I talked to a lot of my friends and my coaches, and they were kind of just telling me that it was because I had reached 100% of my potential. But me being me, I was very unsatisfied with that answer, and I started doing some research about maybe my diet. What I stumbled upon actually entirely changed my life, and it has helped me to break my personal running record 3 times already. So the information that we're going to talk about today is very relevant in everyone's lives. Before we get started though, let's talk about some statistics. Right now, if everyone stops eating red meat in their life, they will eliminate one of the factors for colon cancer, which is actually quite a powerful thing to do because it gives you the driver's seat of your health. I also conducted a poll in my class in which 6 out of 7 people said they ate meat at least 5 times a week. And in that same poll, 7 out of 7 people said that they only ate vegetables 3 times a week. So you can't really see the comparison of how our population favors meat eating versus vegetable eating. So let's take a look. What really is a vegetarian? A vegetarian is really anyone who doesn't consume any sort of meat. Under that category, there are other categories of vegetarians. We have people that are vegan, in which they don't consume any sort of animal product. They don't eat any milk, any dairy products, or any sort of cheese or butter. Versus we also have lacto-ovo-vegetarians that do eat milk and dairy and also eggs. So the diet is actually not very solid as people think it is. It is very flexible and it allows you a lot of room for change and just taste also. There are also really bad things about eating meat. One of the biggest things about eating meat is that it is very high in saturated fats. And saturated fats increase your levels of LDL, which is bad cholesterol. And that can lead to a lot of harmful diseases caused in the cardiovascular system of your body. But the most alarming of them is the fact that your body has to create a lot of bacteria inside to be able to digest that meat that you just ate. And so the more meat you eat, the more bacteria you have inside. And that bacteria produces a lot of waste. That waste eventually clogs up your arteries, and it can lead up to high blood pressure, and even worse, it can lead up to blood clots. And blood clots are not only very harmful to your overall health, but they're also very expensive to treat. A simple procedure to remove a blood clot can cost up to $100,000. So if you told me that I had $100,000 to spend in something, I certainly wouldn't spend it in removing a blood clot. There are other concerns about eating meat, and those are kind of more environmental and more about our world, but also relate to our health overall. And the facilities and the factories in which the cattle are kept are very small and dark, and they don't have a lot of room. And most of them don't really get any sunlight anytime during their life. These factories release a lot of waste that eventually can get into our water systems and can also get into our overall environment, contributing to a more polluted environment and area in which we would live in. But the most alarming part about that is the fact that because the cattle are kept in such a small place, diseases are very easily transmitted to each other. And so what the managers at those plants do is they feed those cattle a lot of antibiotics. These antibiotics then in turn get to us when we eat that meat and eventually increase our antibiotic resistance. So that what that means is that when we do get sick and we need to have an antibiotic, it won't really be too effective on our body because our body would already have a high tolerance for it, and it won't actually be able to help very much. So as you can see, this factor really affects both the environment and our lives. And according to the CDC, 70% of all the antibiotics that are made in the U.S. are actually fed to cattle. They're not fed to humans or babies that are sick. They're fed to the cattle that we eat. So we can see that a lot of those antibiotics would actually end up in our bodies. But being a vegetarian can also help out a lot by being a vegetarian can also help a lot by giving us a big variety of foods to consume. We can consume nuts and vegetables and different kinds of fruits and different kinds of plants that not only will your taste buds be more thankful for, but your body will actually be able to gain more vitamins and minerals from those things instead of feeling groggy and having to take a multivitamin every now and then. And like I said, being a vegetarian obviously reduces your heart disease risk. It reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes, and also reduces your LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. And in conclusion, I want to challenge you all to think about what you put in your body. Think about what you eat and how you eat it, and where it's really going and where it's really going to end up affecting you. Next time you're at McDonald's having that $1 burger, think about it and see if it's really going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Thank you very much for your attention, and you have a good day.